Welcome to the first Catalyst Weekly News Roundup. I'm Quinn Dobson. I'm joined by my co-host,
Diana Colavita.
And today we're going to be talking about probably the biggest story right now in the news, though when you're kind of playing with, when people's lives and land are involved, it sort of feels strange to narrativize it as a story instead of sort of kind of a tragedy. But Trump's plan to, evacuate or let's ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip and redevelop it.
Turn it into the Riviera of the Mediterranean. There already is a Riviera in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, I suppose one, colonial, there's probably already a colonial one. That's probably just Algeria, right? But it is, it's very much sort of been rejected by, I mean, most countries involved in the world stage, apart from, of course, Israel. But yeah, we saw this plan kind of suggested initially, I believe, in the beginning of the of his term, right?
Yeah, he's been This and Greenland have been his two big foreign policy platforms.
Yeah, certainly. And Greenland isn't really going anywhere. Unless the independence movement there gets any ground. But yeah, this Gaza one is sort of interesting because he did get the ceasefire initially. That was sort of everyone kind of went, hey, maybe things aren't going to be that bad. And then he immediately reversed course. And not good.
Well, he and his BFF Bibi decided that the Palestinians have no right to their homeland, which is been the standard, the status quo for 70 something years. So I mean,
it's so right now he's advocating the ethnic cleansing and the development, and he's trying to, and this has been sort of the hyper, far right, though at this point in Israel, not really far right, position that the Palestinians should go to Jordan, should go to Egypt. And of course, Egypt and Jordan have, refused to do that. Trump initially said that he was going to cut off aid to Egypt and Jordan unless they accepted refugees, which was kind of seen as very much that's a very heavy step to take. And especially when both these countries are generally somewhat friendly with the U.S., especially Jordan. However, recently Trump had a meeting with King Hussein of Jordan, and he sort of walked that back and said, we would never do that, which is a classic sort of, Trump move. Yeah,
the master negotiator at his finest. I mean, the thing is, that's just so, the fundamental thing for me about this is, why should the Palestinians have to move? Why have the Palestinians been forced to move from their homes for decades? They've been they've continuously been squeezed into these smaller and smaller slivers of land within Israel, and now they want to move them out of Israel. And Jordan and Egypt don't want to take them, not because they care about the Palestinians' right to their homeland. They just don't want to take them because it would be more of a burden on their countries. But just, I think about, the Nakba and all the Palestinian families who have been displaced, who still hold on to the keys to their homes that have been lived in by Israeli settlers for decades. And I don't understand. That's the thing. It's think about if someone came to you and told you you had to move out of your home, other people wanted to live there, you had to go to where they wanted you to go, and you had no control over where you couldn't leave, you couldn't do, it was just, they describe them as open air. They describe Gaza and the West Bank as open air prisons. And in some ways they are.
Effectively, Gaza is sort of the largest the largest prison in the world, largest open air prison in the world. And just building on what you said about why these countries are, not really liable to, are not likely to take, 2 million Palestinian refugees, not only because of a burden on their country, but also they understand the motive, right? And while a lot of these countries' leaders are largely secular, almost apoliticized, right, as capital does, kind of apoliticize, leaders in countries, but it would lead to mass popular discontent. I don't know if Sisi's government, which is largely backed by a religious he was put in by the Muslim Brotherhood, right? Mm-hmm. Largely, his backing would not survive. His coalition would not survive if he was a collaborationist in the mass dispossession of Palestinians. And that's, I think, what Trump doesn't understand. He doesn't really understand the idea that there is anything outside of, money, which maybe there isn't. Maybe he's a secret Marxist, but I digress.
I mean, there's the list of things Trump doesn't understand would be pages long, but that's definitely something he doesn't understand. That there's, he just, I mean, I agree with you. That makes sense that, this politically within their own countries, the taking in, Palestinians would be seen as, capitulation and also, violation of, mostly Muslim, sovereignty. But, I mean, the thing is I think, we're two college students sitting here talking on this radio station about this, and in some way, and I'm convinced that we have a better understanding of this than Trump does. And that's the scary thing, because this man is making these decisions without any real concept of what that means and how that affects people. I don't think he really thinks of people outside of himself. I don't think he thinks about anything beyond power and money and strength and whatever makes him look good in the moment. And whoever's whispering in his ear last gets to him to do what they want. And,
Yeah, that's fundamental about fascism, is that it is just capitalism without ideology beyond kind of capital. And so it kind of flip-flops around. It kind of takes what is necessary to gain power without any kind of guiding ideology, which capitalism already does, right? But with liberalism, there is a norm that is generally, you can't breach it so publicly, right? Because then that delegitimizes capitalism. Fascism is the doing away with that. It's barbarism. It is pure and simple. Capital is the end-all, be-all. And we can kind of have our norms, right? But if we want to, we can break them, which, again, is the guiding light of liberalism as well. But fascism kind of just goes directly for the core of it. And we're really seeing that. I think that's generally our thoughts on it. We're going to be returning next week with another little weekly news roundup, probably with maybe one other person on the mic. But from The Catalyst, I'm web editor Quinn Dobson.
And I'm opinions editor Diana Colavita.
And your weekly news update returns next week with hopefully maybe a more positive story. Inshallah, hopefully. But it's not, in our current climate, not entirely likely.